I'm sure you heard the news by now that Liu Kang and Sub-Zero have been leaked, borderline confirmed for the game according to the Canadian Best Buy site. Nothing much to say that hasn't already been said, since we all kind of knew that they would be in the game anyways, since they are staples of the franchise. I for one am really happy since Liu Kang is my favorite character in the series, and I can't wait to see what his Dark Emperor design or his Revenant design may look like in the game, and I'm also excited to see classic Liu Kang as potential gear or a skin for him in Mortal Kombat 11. That's all I really have to say about those characters, since there's no real reason to elaborate on them other than, hey, we have those two characters on the roster. Anyways, moving on, it's recently come to my attention that Spawn has been confirmed, or he has been leaked for Mortal Kombat 11, and this time this claim doesn't really come from a guy who claims to work at NetherRealm or is a janitor at NetherRealm Studios on 4chan. This one actually comes from the creator of Spawn's words, and this is Todd McFarlane. When he was doing a Q&A on Reddit, he was asked by someone to please have Spawn be in Mortal Kombat 11, and the response from Todd was, I believe he's on his way. Now, of course, you had a lot of people going around saying that this is Spawn being confirmed for the game, or Todd accidentally leaking Spawn for MK11. Well, that's not necessarily true, and here's why. Todd McFarlane essentially said the same thing for Mortal Kombat X, and nothing ever happened. He said this in an interview way back in 2015, where Todd says this.
You mentioned that you have a short deal as far as when I mentioned Mortal Kombat, so can you tell us more about what does that mean?
That means that they have access to be able to use the character in a couple of their games if they want to. Again, it's up to their discretion. So I gave them a window of time, and so I'll just leave it to them to be able to do what it is that they want. So eventually they'll phone me and they go, hey, we want to use them here. Is that okay? Well, technically it's okay because we've already said yes. They just are just letting us know.
So there's a time limit on this, and I'm kind of thinking the time limit is up on this quote-unquote deal, since again this was back in 2015, and by the time Mortal Kombat 11 is out, it'll be 2019. A 4-year deal? That's kind of a long time for a character to be in one game. So to me, it seems odd that someone would hold the rights for a character, especially a big company like Warner Brothers, for them to hold the rights for a character for that long. Another thing related to this interview is something that I have repeatedly brought up, but no one else seems to bring it up because I think people just like to throw around the confirmed, leaked, or 100% true word all the time. And it's about Ed Boon. And Ed Boon himself has said that any Spawn discussions with Todd McFarlane never happened. And he wasn't asked about this, he wasn't trolling, he brought it up on his own and explicitly said this.
Spawn would be a great character, but so I don't think that's part of the Warner Brothers library per se.
Yeah,
And
I
so-
saw an interview with Todd McFarlane where he said that he offered it to us, but I don't remember that conversation. Yeah.
So you may question, well, then why did Todd say that he's on his way? Well, that's probably because he still thinks that a deal was made with NetherRealm the same way he did back in 2015 with Mortal Kombat X. You've also got to know who Todd McFarlane is, because he's one of those people who say stuff all the time that doesn't really come true. Now, of course, people are going to bring up, but there's a movie coming out, there's a Spawn movie coming out, and NetherRealm always use guest characters who have movies coming out, and that is true. However, in Spawn's case, Spawn was supposed to have a movie coming out all the way back in 2010, and I think as early as 2008 or 9, and who was the one who brought it up? Todd McFarlane, who says, oh yeah, Spawn movie is coming, guys. Oh yeah, Spawn movie is coming. And nothing ever happens. Now, currently, the production on the Spawn movie is more ahead than it's ever been since they actually casted some people. Like, they casted Jamie Foxx and Jeremy Renner, with Todd McFarlane directing and writing himself. But you have to know that a movie isn't happening unless it starts filming. And currently, the movie is not filming right now, so until they start filming, it's not happening. It's the same way with the DC movies where they announce a Batgirl movie, they announce a No Lobo movie and all that. they aren't happening unless they are being filmed. And hey, would you look at this? Spawn movie delayed. How many more delays are we gonna get until the film gets put on hold again, like it has been for a long time? I know this isn't as exciting as you would like it to be, but you also have to look at the facts first before you take one thing out of context. One last thing that I'll say is that Spawn isn't as popular as a lot of people in this community think he is. Like, he is a very obscure comic book character, and it's going to be hard to put an obscure character up for DLC, up for grabs, when he won't really attract more than the hardcore gaming and comic book audience. And the majority of people who buy these games are casuals, who know only the icons of horror films and comic book characters. That's why Freddy and Jason are in the NetherRealm games, because they are not obscure, they are iconic. Spawn is not iconic nor well known in the mainstream audience. The last time Spawn was popular and relevant was back in Soul Calibur 2 when he was a guest character in that game, and that was all the way back in 2002. Spawn is a 90s thing, and really only 90s kids will remember Spawn. Spawn is a meme request is what I'm saying. Of course, I'm not going to be here and saying no, Spawn is definitely not going to be an MK11. I am not suggesting that I know for sure that Spawn is not in the game. I am just saying we shouldn't be getting hyped about him unless it is officially confirmed that he will be in the game. For now, that is the most appropriate time to be hyped for Spawn, or for any character for that matter. One more thing I'll add is that you may say, Ed Boon always tweets and hints about Spawn, so surely he must be in the game this time. Well guys, Ed Boon says that kind of stuff all the time for anything because it's hype for his game. Not everything he hints at makes it in the game. Remember when the Watchmen were hinted at for Injustice 2? They didn't end up being in that game, and currently, no word has been said about Spawn from Ed Boon. That's all I really wanted to say on this subject. I don't really like talking about DLC characters this early, since I think it's more important to have focus on what the main roster is going to look like, since the roster for a fighting game, especially a Mortal Kombat game, really does make it or break it for me, and the other players out there as well. So if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and make sure to be subscribed to this channel for more Mortal Kombat content. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon.